Hello, hello, hello. I think we're good. Are we live? Is things happening? Hello, welcome to Feedback Friday, Art Edition, again this week. Sorry about the stuff behind me. Drying rack full of clothes. The angle's weird, but I like it better than what I had before, I suppose. Um, Hopefully my audio is okay. Last week, we were messing around with all the overlays. Hey, look, I'm framed in all this beautiful artwork. I'm on TV. Um, yeah, I just peeked right there. I gotta turn that down. And I did notice that the way my audio stuff is set up, it's not ideal. So I did some messing around outside of the stream. So hopefully that's working correctly now. So let me know if the audio is weird. Yeah, plant cam. Um, Audio is fine. Okay, cool. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, so yeah, last week we did art as well. Dave is off today, actually, as well as a few other members of the team. We have a holiday on Monday, so anytime we have that lineup, a lot of the team likes to take, the Friday off, so we get like a super extra long weekend. But I figured I'll do the stream today. It's gonna be a short one anyways because I have a meeting in the afternoon. Um, so I'm probably just gonna be like developing the sketch and kind of like getting it started. And I know it's been something that anytime we've had kind of like less to do on the stream, I've been like, oh, should we do like a redraw or like what would you like to see? One of the things that has come up a number of times, and I think it'd be fun to do, is a journal theme for the Marching Flame specifically, I believe would be kind of the idea. Because let's see, who pointed it out? Looking at the chat now. Yeah, Ben mentions that we already have the Living Garden theme. But yeah, I think that the request, if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of like trying to remember back, months ago potentially. Basically, the Fiery Warpath was kind of the request. So, any spoilers to share today? No, not today. Basically, any of the artwork that needed to be done for the upcoming stuff is out, or not out, but rather plugged in, and perhaps next week, Dave's probably going to be doing kind of like a recap or talking about what's coming up, and so it should be an interesting week because probably learn some things about the Sky Palace. Who knows? Or get feedback from Ronza and how that has been. So yeah, next week, make sure to tune in for that. But yeah, we're gonna do art today. I actually need to clear what's on my screen right now. Probably should save this too. I was working on something that we need in a little bit. However, a friend of mine from college actually is doing a stream right now. He's doing a Sick Kids charity stream where he's playing Clan O'Connell. So I was kind of trying to tune in for that. He just started, so I didn't really get to catch too much of it. But I have it kind of like open on my other window, and I can't hear it, so I'm just kind of like lurking, see how it goes. But yeah, excited for that. I've already donated to it. If anyone's interested, I actually highly recommend tuning in and hanging out there as well. So I'm actually going to post his link in my chat. So check it out. He's a really, really good artist. He streams quite regularly on Twitch and does a lot of like beautiful ink work and like just incredible detailed stuff. So very cool, humble guy as well. Very nice person. So feel free to drop in there and hang out. And yeah, it's for Sick Kids charity. So very good cause there. But for now, let's see, I gotta still clear my windows, close that, and I'm gonna open the template. For whatever reason, my monitor like stopped working this morning. It came back, but all my windows have been like messed up and rearranged, so I need to like move everything around. When I open them, it like opens in an unexpected place. All right, let's see. Interface. Journal theme is where. There you are, journal theme. And I want to see this as large icon so I can make sure to grab the correct one. That one's from 2017. This is the one I want, I believe. All right. Hopefully this is right. I know that some of these files have different variations on how they're built, but this looks like it's the latest version. It should be. My goodness, my shirt is just buzzing. It's like an orange kind of like, you know, fitness shirt. It's got that kind of like, you know, sweat whisking properties, but when it's hit with just enough light, this thing glows apparently. All right, so let's switch the camera over. Here we go. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this dude up here. You just kind of move him over here, I suppose. So if you're tuning in for the first time, since like not tuning in last week or whatnot, you'll see that I've definitely kind of like decorated a bit. I think that, you know, we're gonna keep messing around with this, have fun with it. I'll shrink this guy down here. There we go. But yeah, we're just kind of like trying it out. I wanted to just have an overlay. I don't think it's very well designed right now. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge, but you know, stepping in the right direction is important. So that has begun at least. All right, so I didn't actually build this with Photoshop in mind, but because of what this this design is, it requires kind of the Photoshop slicing capability, so I'll be painting in that today. I could probably do it in Clip Studio and then just kind of like bring it into this file, but I don't know if that'll be too beneficial. So I'll probably just stick with this. Yeah, my in real life garden theme going on right here. Right, let's see. Onward to victory across the top. Yeah, what would you guys like to see for this journal theme? So this would be for the, you know, the marching flame. I'd assume probably, I don't know, a lot of sand and weapons or something. Flame shards. Let's see. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. A nuke. Yes. Oh no. Just like, yeah, glassed the sand below. Something from wave 4. Okay. That could be neat. Yeah, I had a lot to kind of like organize this morning, so I kind of should have pulled up more reference, but I did not. I'm actually going to travel there right now, I think. With Ronza here, I've kind of been feeling more like, oh, I'll jump around. So let's go there, see what I kind of like experience from there. It's been a little while, actually. I'm on wave 2 right now. Let's change out my G's and probably my trap. How are we doing? Okay. Sorry, it's just a bunch of work messages too. Right. I'm just like, I don't want to waste those cheese and charms. Disarm. Alright. What do I got? I mean, I probably don't need to actually be like trying to clear the wave right now. I'm just gonna here temporarily. I suppose I'll just take a hunt so I can see the header illustration. Yeah, alright. So, kind of wanted to just grab a shot of that. Now let's go to the mice. And we wanted something from wave 4. Let's see. Though isn't wave 4 specifically against the warmonger? The Surgy Warden, yeah. I do actually like the Surgy Warden design better than the warmonger. That could be neat. Let's grab. Just throw some reference around here. Let's see, what else? I'm not sure if I want to put like characters in it. I don't really think that's kind of generally the idea for the journal themes, right? I kind of want to just encapsulate the environment in this one, I think. Yeah, the hut's pretty neat. It's not a bad one. Yeah, scorched sand, stuff like that. Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking, let's just kind of hide those real quick. I'm going to move them up here so I can just grab those as reference when I need to. Right? Turn them on and off. And this is the base backdrop. What is that layer? Nothing. These are scribbles from another design. Okay, so this is blank. Cool. All right. So what I like to do is just kind of like get the general shapes first. Obviously, we need these kind of like edges to kind of fill that space, and they need to be kind of like perfectly tileable or stretchable or however you want to kind of think of it. But the sides can't really have any unique details to them, just the way that the system kind of deals with them. Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably going to involve flame shards, right? That's a pretty safe assumption, I would guess. And I mean, I don't know how it's going to be implemented. This is just something that people have requested for a while, so I figure, you know what, let's actually kind of like create this. Actually, I'm going to move this one up because I feel like I want to use this as a reference point. The colors seem off. Why are they so incredibly washed out? For me, anyways. Might be something off with the either the color profile or just my monitor calibration is being kind of thrown out of whack because of the like monitors kind of forgetting that they exist and then swapping around. So let's see, what is the profile for this one? It is sRGB. Interesting. Color settings using sRGB. So those should be correct. I'm actually going to import the actual header illustration in, just to see if that does anything. Header illustrations. Where are you? 100. Oh boy. There's so many. One day I'll find it. Oh, there it was. Okay, so no, yeah, it's super washed out. Weird. Is there? You know, it might be. Interesting. All right, so if I pull this up onto the other screen. Huh. Yeah, okay, so I think it's the monitor. Needs to be recalibrated, unfortunately. But I won't do that right now. I'll just kind of try to color correct on the other screens, so hopefully things don't look too wonky. Get rid of this here. Sorry. So, wow, that's so washed out looking. Weird. I actually can't stand looking at it like that, so I'm actually going to tone it down just so it's not nearly as distracting. But I have it as kind of a little bit of a reference point. So we have kind of like the two areas to work within. We have the top frame, which is going to have the hunter's journal text, of course, right? And then we have the bottom frame, which is a little more kind of like it has room to do kind of fun, detailed shot. So what would we like to show in this? Yeah, Warden's Artillery Commander, the banners. Ooh, the red tabarted banner for like the journal title itself, kind of like, you know, ripped and tattered or something. I feel like that kind of takes a lot of the real estate, but that could be cool. Like, do we want to kind of show a certain angle, like we're kind of like looking at the horizon here? I'm almost wondering, like, could we do like a top-down? Would that be interesting for the bottom part, where we're like kind of like looking down at a battlefield or something like that? Not sure if that works. I'm just trying to like figure out like what could we do to make this space down here interesting. Yeah, so the frame that I am in is one that we made a while back for the Whisker Woods, the calm clearing. I guess, yeah, the Whisker Woods, because it kind of covers all three of those areas. So we have like the gnarled tree, the calm clearing, and the lagoon, kind of all represented. But we're also kind of like developing some gameplay for the area. And I figured that when we end up kind of like developing and releasing that content, we'll include this journal theme as part of that, so that it's kind of like, it's like such an early area that like going back and playing it might feel kind of like, why am I doing this? It's like for, you know, beginner players effectively. like really early ranks. And so like it's not like we could be like do it because there's this really great trap that you'll need. Obviously, you'll be way overpowered for anything that would exist there. So, you know, doing whatever the new kind of quest that should still be fun. It may not be as kind of like involved and as engaged as, you know, the floating islands and as rewarding for, you know, golden points and traps and stuff like that. But it should still be fun to play, right? Like that's the goal of any area. But it'll be a shorter experience, of course, so it wouldn't take long. But it'd be kind of cool to like use this as a nice little reward for doing that, so that you know it doesn't feel as much of a waste. Because it's like we may not have too many brand new mice for you to add to your collection, stuff like that. Depends. We'll see how it goes. It's still, you know, in design phase. We haven't started production on any of that, so I'm not sure when that would happen. It's definitely in the cards though, because that area specifically is just there's nothing really to do as a player, so it would be nice to have. Um, so yeah, I right now it's exclusive for me, so sorry. It's one of my favorites too. Um, let's see, Wave 4 with the flames. Yeah, that's true. I have that. Might take a second to dig it up too, but that was some time ago. That was back in Burlington. See, a whole 10 years ago, probably? Yeah. Um, why is it so hard to find? Oh, not that. Hmm. Maybe in Living Garden area? I don't think so, though. Let's see. No, I mean, like, that's its own HUD. That one's a bit messy. Not a fan of that. I kind of have it in portal projectors. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I'm gonna try something. Haven't done this one yet, but let's do this. Okay, cool. I just wanted to like test it out. The audio does shut off for that. Hello. So this is a very old file. Back when we were creating the portal projector for it. This was kind of like before we did the actual flame ordnance kind of thing. Early idea for it. Um, you're hunting there right now. That's awesome. But yeah, so we have kind of like this epic looking backdrop here. I don't know if I actually have that in this. Nah, that's just a screenshot, isn't it? Shoot. What's all this? Who even knows? Alright, well that's not very useful. I will keep looking. Alright. Don't think it's here. No. Is it so old that it's like in an ancient folder tucked away? But I have like the library HUD, and that one's really old too. Aha! I have found it. Discovered. Alright, let's see. Ooh. Okay. Now, where's the actual PSD with all this? I think this is it. Whoa, this is old. Whoa. Whoa. Look at this. What is this? My goodness. This was a design I was working on so long ago that was like 4 charms. I called them trinkets back then. Yeah. But yeah, very old. All right. Wave count. Charlie, what are you doing? I don't need you stepping on the keyboard. Now this was tweaked since this was like created, of course, because we have things like the porta projector that exists for it. All right, wave 4. Do I actually have? Aha, here we go. All right, so it's not like an incredibly detailed image, right? But you know, we could use this as a design idea. Yeah, this Hunter's Journal is literally the oldest one. Right? 2008. Nice. Don't get much older than that. August 5th. All right. So I'm actually just going to rip this out, put it into the other file. And you know what? I'm going to grab the other panels as well. Oop. It's in the wrong file. Okay. So we could grab the projected portal one. Is this whole thing? Yeah, okay, the whole thing has the opacity shifted down. I'll drag this over. I don't think we'll use this one so much. Oh, there we go. I had to think for a minute to copy that over. And I'll smush that. And then let's see. Go back over here. And actually, does this? Oh no, it uses this as the backdrop. Got it. Streakometer. Support mice. The button. Yeah, so this was added more recently, of course. I gotta remember that crops. So, let's see. Launch codes. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's the wave 4 one. Let's look at wave 3. I mean, it's just a bunch of fire. Nothing too great there. Alright, and then wave 2, similar. A lot of fire, but a little bit more, you know, landscape, so that's kind of nice. Alright, nearly there. And then wave 1. Cool. I like it. Come on. Cursor, get over there. There we go. Oh boy. Alright, so don't need that. Do not save that. Not that I need to preserve that old file, but might as well not mess it up. Alright, so we have some examples of kind of like the backdrops that exist in the location. So that's not too shabby for reference point. I'm going to open this here. This is a kind of like custom color picker thing that I have. But I'm actually going to move this right here so I have kind of an idea of where the image cuts off. So I kind of like make sure to keep everything in frame for everybody. Cool. Okay. So let's see. We have some elements. I'm definitely thinking it'll have kind of like the actual, you know, desert sands everywhere. Maybe some of the kind of like planted flags that are tattered, fires and such. But, you know, like I want people to want to have this on display. So what would make this kind of like an exciting thing to kind of like, you know, detail around your journal? What would you want? 11 light stuff. Oh boy. Very old. Yeah. Oh no. If you press the artillery, you see another banner with mushroom cloud called Bloom. That would be pretty like fun detail, but like not something that I would be able to justify putting in that kind of like expended effort. I love the idea though; that's very fun. Um, so actually, okay, so like the this one here is actually pretty neat. It's that whole like feeling of a showdown. Um, so we could maybe try and kind of incorporate that one. Like, what if this was something for the bottom? Move all of these into a reference folder. So it's easy to hide when I need to. So that. And all of these. Boom. All right, cool. All the reference hides, and it's back. Good. One of my cats is precariously resting her face on my keyboard, but like just at the edge of buttons. So hopefully she doesn't actually hit anything. But her chin is like right beside the play button. All right. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do anything dynamic with it, unfortunately. Like, it'd be cool if there was interactions and such, but being as the team doesn't even know I'm really developing this, I want to keep it as simple and easy for them to kind of like implement so that, you know, it doesn't have to not exist forever. Because if we do any kind of like, oh yeah, it's gonna like change state depending on what wave you're in, if you like hit the button or not, that would kind of like put it in a place where it would just never get put in, because they're very busy people. They have a lot of things they have to do, and so if it's just kind of like, hey, can we just like add this into a shop for like some flame shards or something? That's not so bad. Okay. Yeah, so the top or bottom could be the wave 4 chamber itself, and then the sandy battlefield for like the other one. So I'm thinking because there is the title card, it's harder to kind of like set up this like combat stage or something like that. So I'm kind of thinking like, what if the bottom one is kind of more this design, say. Just because we can like set it up to be more of a scene itself. This is the top. The other ones, I don't need these right now. I'm feeling like they're less relevant, except for maybe this one. I still think that one's going to be good for up there. So what we could do is just, I mean, I could just literally steal this and clean it up as I go. Like we could, because it's cool that it matches what exists in the HUD itself. Like all these shapes are literally what exists, so that's kind of nice. And if I just kind of like start to work it, I can clean it up as I go. I should probably do this as a layer on top, just so that I can kind of like go back to it if I need. I don't know if I want it to be this kind of level of contrast that's going to exist, but Hey, no sitting on the keyboard, please. Excuse you. Don't hiss at me. Rude cat. She's literally moved my monitor with her butt. You shouldn't even be up here. But of course, both the cats are. Just sleeping under my monitor. Even my desk mess cannot deter them. Because there's like really good sunbeams that come through with my window, so they just like love soaking that up on my desk. Even though I try to keep the curtains closed, but they like to open them so they can access the beautiful sun and just roast. Like, it gets so hot that you can actually, like, if you pick them up and cuddle them after they've been kind of like in the windows, you can actually like smell the, like, I don't know, the heat, the sun soaking on them. Like, they smell different when they've been soaking in the sun. Not a bad smell, it's actually quite pleasant, but toasty cat. Alright, let's see. On the bottom of mouse, army with like, archers, cavalry mages, battle formation at the top of the battlefield after the battle. Could be. Victory counter would be pretty cool. That would be neat because then it's kind of like a way to display that achievement to other players, and like you can choose to show it off if you activate the journal theme. Okay, so I was like, we're not going to do anything dynamic. That's a cool idea that I am certainly not saying is going to happen at all. You know, this is the first we've kind of like talked about this, but if the other developers are like, well, that's a really cool idea, we should totally do that, I won't say no, and I will maybe recommend that we could try that, because it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so not going to happen. I'll just say that. It's not going to happen. And if it does, wow, that's neat. Now, this is a very, 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 very old image that I'm kind of like tweaking. So I'm probably going to redraw most of it. That would be for the best. Yeah. So what do we think of this, though? Like, I'm wondering if we should try and frame this all with kind of like the sand. So if I do a layer above this, and it kind of, it's probably not a good sand color. I suppose that, where's my sketch? That's the sketch. That should go on top here. So I kind of want to fit this all kind of like inside of a, I guess, panel. I don't know if that works, though. I'll definitely change the color down there, because it's not going to match too effectively. But like, it's kind of a weird window into this battle scene, I guess. I don't know if I like that at all. But what I could do is do a clipping mask onto this and kind of create a gradient to kind of like pull that down. I think I'm actually going to go cooler with it and pull that back. So I don't know if that does what I want it to, but it's kind of like some kind of cavern almost. That hotkey, Adobe, I'm so unimpressed, as always. Never get rid of that hotkey. Drive me up the wall. Alright, let's see. Where is my hotkey override? I haven't had to use this in a while. Alright, let's see. Is that my desktop? Yes, it is. That's a good place for it. Alright, so now I won't just constantly be jumping to layers I'm not supposed to be on. Let's see. Alright, so I'm not sure if that does anything, but why not try to. I'm kind of thinking maybe I want this to still actually be in the same scene, like instead of being a kind of a window into it, at least the bottom part is supposed to be related to it. It's way too red. You know, maybe it is kind of like inside of a cavern or something like, or maybe these actually on the sides should just be like pillars or something like that. Much like what we have going on here, right? Yeah, I think it'll read better if that kind of like element is a little more consistent. So in that case, I think I do actually want this to go to like some kind of like night scene here, right? I think the only difficulty is how does it transition from the top frame to the bottom frame. What I'm thinking is maybe I can kind of like just create a an actual framing that'll look really quite nice for it, right? We don't tend to do this, but it could be nice if there's just literally an actual border around it, and then everything else is kind of like scene setting. That could be a cool way to handle this. So then, this is just a cool scene down here, right? We don't do too much of that, so it could be neat to do this. I don't need to actually be in the warpath anymore, so I should probably switch back to the floating islands. And make sure I'm not equipping a really bad setup. There we go. All right. Switch back to the stream over there. Yeah, a bit of sand and rock from the market as the frame. Ooh, I like that actually. Yeah, include a little bit of Muraday in that. It's not a bad idea. That could be pretty good. Let's see. I have a nice header illustration for Muraday Market that could be useful for that. There's like the glass too. Let's see. Header illustrations. Let's see how long it takes me to find this one. And the header illustration for the Sky Palace looks so good. I want to show it off, but I'm going to save that, let you experience that for yourself. It's very nice. Let's see. Where are you, Muraday? Oh. Okay, that's the Lost City. Oh, that was a claw shot. Huh. I seem to have found all but Murade. I suppose I could just quickly travel there. I know that I have it, it's just the way that some of my folders were organized from way back. It means I may not be able to find it super easily. Okay. Well, I don't know. It might not be detail that is too useful for me right now, but I think just, yeah, having that like sandstone brickwork would be good. Okay. At least for kind of like just kind of giving a nice little impression here of this being a nice handcrafted frame or something like that. Now, the thing about doing it this way is suddenly these sidebars, I mean, they can't have individual bricks in them. So what I'm thinking is there's just kind of like an embossed, almost pillar. That could work. Okay. All right, we'll figure that out later. I think that detail is going to lay on top of all of the other stuff, so making that work is going to rely on the other illustration and kind of like designing it to fit on top of that, so not a huge concern right at this moment. I'm thinking for the top scene, I actually want to tweak the title card itself to kind of like leave more room for just kind of like place setting it. So let's see, I can shrink you down. Can't I? Oh, okay. Now you're a flat image, all right. Not actually text. That's probably a bad thing, but actually, let me recreate this. Dash and dash space. And you are probably Trajan Pro. Oh, of course. Would be bold. Ooh, that's nice and bold, though. Okay, so that's way too big. Center that text. So that's pretty small to be Jacob. But okay, I think I'll bump it up. 13. It's still legible. I mean, everyone knows what it is. So eventually maybe we'll just get rid of that text altogether, but I like it. So we're going to use that. And now, I suppose I could technically heighten the top portion as well, if we wanted to, but I do dislike having to push the journal further down. So maintaining a thin kind of like top portion is probably ideal. And what we could consider is instead having this kind of like gauntlet scene, the showdown scene on the top, and then have kind of like a big, kind of like cool looking illustration below with lots of detail there. So I don't know. I suppose we can just kind of grab this, duplicate it, bring it up here, and see if that would work. But it's like where we would want the text to be legible is kind of messing with the main part of like the whole purpose of that cool setup shot, right? Unless we like move the text lower, but it's like I want those steps. So yeah, I just don't think that this piece works on the top, right? And I like that we can show more of it down here, like really kind of like set up a cool kind of like scene. Like I want like, you know, a fireball just kind of like falling in the backdrop or something cool like that. Who knows? Do all kinds of fun stuff and just kind of like make it look really good. And again, I don't want to take too long on this today. I don't think I'm going to finish it today. But I do want to get the layout where we know what it's going to be in the end. But yeah, as I said, I have meetings in the afternoon, so I'm going to stream up until lunch, but I'm probably going to take a little bit of a later lunch because of that, because I want to try and fit what I can in, right? So if we push this basically right up to the top, that gives us a little bit of room to kind of mush stuff around. Now I did this on the sketch layer, but it's just a sketched thing anyway, so no big deal. Alright, I do like the idea of using a banner for this. And it's got to be tattered. Or torn and tattered. Actually makes me think of the Banner Saga. You ever played that? They have that kind of like giant red banner that just kind of flows, and that's kind of like a big design element for the whole thing. Just kind of making me think of that. It's really, really well crafted, beautiful game. So if I have this kind of like flowing, like it, because of it being this massive, you know, bolt of fabric, I feel like, you know, for it to be doing what it's doing, it's totally going to have to be flapping in the wind. So the question I have is, should it actually be kind of distorting significantly? And in which case the text itself would actually be kind of dancing along its surface. I'm thinking, yeah, totally. Even at the cost of it being legible, because it makes it more real. You already know what it says, probably. And even if you don't know it, even if you can't read it, it's like not important to not be able to read it so much. So I'm thinking it'd be cooler to like actually make this distort and be kind of like actually in its space and reacting to the like vicious winds and sandstorms and stuff. So with this, what's the best way to distort this text? I could rasterize it and like do some liquefy movements for it. I think that there is also a thing I can do here. Is it customized though? No. Flag. Woo. I mean, that kind of is what it needs to do, but like not in the right spots. I know there's just straight up customized one though. Cancel this. All right. What is it? Maybe it has to be rasterized to do it. Might have to be rasterized. So I'm going to duplicate this and then rasterize it. And now let's see if this will distort. Aha, there we go. That did do it. All right. So what I can do is effectively kind of like grab and it only gives me so many segments. Can I add more? Maybe I cannot. Whoa, that's kind of rad. All right, not helping. All right, I'm thinking the best option is keeping it rasterized and then doing a liquefy on it. So first, I am going to do a little bit of distorting. And then I'm thinking I will do a curve, like an arch. That's a big arch. Something like this. Probably good. Okay. And now, if I make a selection here and rotate you, kind of like so, and then I'm going to duplicate this again. Better to play it safe. Okay, so now, this is such a wild way to do things. No, you know what? Keep it like that. Let's try liquefying it from here. I do not use the liquefy tool, so let's see how well this goes. Oh boy. I wish I could just like properly like show image hides all of it. Show mesh, I guess. Okay. Like, can I just please? No, I want to see what I'm doing. I want to see the stuff behind. Like, just don't show me the original on top. It'd be great without that. Why? Why do you show me the original? It drives me insane. Am I just missing a single setting that says like, hey, maybe like don't show the thing you're distorting on top of what you're like. Does this make sense to anyone else? Am I just not understanding why liquefy is dumb? Like, it's an amazing tool if it, you know, actually displayed things in a smart way. And of course, like, Procreate does this perfectly. Exactly how it should be, but that's Procreate for you. Also, I'm not sure how to do it in Clip Studio yet. I'm pretty sure there is a method for it, though. Hunter's Journal. Yeah, it's like so hard to tell what I'm doing because it's kind of getting blocked by itself. So silly. Whoa, oh, don't go up, go down. Come on. Figure it out. It's like very smudgy at the top too. I can clean that up though, it's not too bad. Like this T should probably be like squeezed in a little bit more, and then like all of it should just kind of like shift to the left a little, please. I think, no, that's okay, and that U is super tall. Can't really tell what's going on with some of these. Hopefully the A and L need to come down. And again, drive me insane. Okay, so the N is real messed up. Let's like undeflate that, I guess. I guess this is the way to do it. You have to like hide and show. And like if I confirm this, then everything's going to be like super distorted and hard to undistort. So I gotta clean this up right here before I commit it to see what it actually looks like. I suppose if I feel like this, please, if this has like a nice kind of like flapping quality to it, I can just match the banner to this text. So if I get the text feeling good, I also can't. Well, actually, I can drag this down. Shrink this a bit. There we go. So if I make this look good, it's easy enough to just match the actual fabric of the banner to this. It looks a bit wonky. Alright. It's pretty wild. Look how thick the R is here. I can clean that up. Like maybe what I should do is just grab sections at a time and then like use the like distortion stuff here. So like I really want this T to be a lot more squished. So like more like that. Pull this in. That apostrophe was getting real grungy at the top. Right. S is very like, whoa, exploding at the top. Let's see, okay. Hunter's journal. Alright, and now for the journal, I'm just going to slide this over, pulling it a bit closer, and we can just make the actual banner itself match that a bit better. It's not too bad. And then we can recenter. Okay, so how do we want to incorporate the flame shards, do we think? So I feel like it would want that. So that's kind of working-ish, I guess. I don't know. I'm not super sold on it, but let's see. I'm gonna slide that over just a little bit. Oop. Yeah, I feel like flame shards would be good. So how shall we make them part of this? Bless you. Alright. Yeah, it does almost have a fireplace look to it. Not necessarily the goal, but okay. So I like the kind of presence of the rocks and the like battlefield look. The tents maybe, kind of like up in the scene up here. But like, I would assume to get this, you've kind of like bested the warpath, right? You've defeated them. Maybe it requires a certain number of victories as well. So it could be them having been defeated or something like that in this image. Yeah, how to convey that, if that's what we want. Curious if there are ideas for that. Like maybe we've planted our flag here. So instead of the marching flame red, maybe it's something different. And also if we wanted to kind of like, Shirley, you're about to fall on the keyboard, so you're off the desk, I'm sorry. She was like lining her butt up to just like fall right across all those keys. Not sure. Hello. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Alright, so, yeah, I'm still wondering how should we incorporate some flame shards, and if we want this to kind of like be a scene of victory or, you know, the marching flames defeat, how should we try to convey that? I think that, yeah, like it being, you know, we've planted our flag is kind of what's going on. That works here. It's a pretty tattered flag, so maybe I should clean that up, but I also think that the tattered flag totally works for the whole region. Got a lot of ripped banners everywhere. And then, like down here, what we could do is actually have like this knocked over or something. Although, with this being a scene that exists in the HUD, but you like barely can see it ever, I actually kind of want to show it a bit better. And it being kind of vacated kind of gives an impression that it's, you know, defeated. So that works. Okay. We can also take a look at this in grayscale. We'll want to use this to kind of like probably draw the eye that we would want. Yeah, I think as long as it looks cool, then we're winning with it. That is fine enough. So we could... I think the red banner still works. Like, even if this is like supposed to be our flag, I don't know what color would work otherwise. Right? Actually, use this distorting finally. That N and A come up quite rapidly here. I think this tatter should be offset from the one above. Don't want too much of it like mirroring, right? And I almost want the banner to actually like fold in on itself like that, and that would cut off a bunch of the text. But it would also kind of like shrink it in and shorten it, right? So like that could be a good thing. Let's see. Shrink my window here so I can see more. Oh. Error keyframes. Keyframe frequency is off somehow. I don't know what's going on. Keyframes are not being sent often enough. Current keyframe frequency is 8.3 seconds. Huh. I don't know why it's set to that. Weird. Can I tweak that right now? Is there any weird latency? Yeah, shortening the banner would help, I think. I agree. I agree. No, that's just like chat settings. Okay, I'll have to mess with the keyframe thing later. I don't know how to do that right now. And we're running lower on time, so don't want to waste any more of it. And I mean, it's not like we're playing some crazy hype video game, so we don't need really high frame rates, so it's fine. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm going to further mess with this text here. I'm going to just slide this like all the way behind and just chop that right off here. And then the sketch layer. That T is also obliterated, basically. Fix the R, I guess. But now, this needs to kind of wrap down here. And honestly, with the amount of kind of like wrapping I'm doing, it's actually probably gonna like eat up the rest of the word for the most part. So that will shorten it quite a bit, which is probably a good thing. The U feels a little short. Actually, I might be able to move this like down here. Just kind of like have a hint of it peeking out here. Yeah, honestly, the S would be like probably like right here. So super, like, not even visible at all. But hey, that just means we have tons more room. And it still basically says Hunt Journal, so it'll still be like understandable. Let's rotate this like so. Yeah. Cool. And then we'll modify the banner. Whoop. There we go. Cool. Okay, so that did kind of like give us a little bit more room to work with. That J and O feel a bit off, so I'm actually just rotating it gets away with it. Sure. I might clean up the text as I like do the proper render of it, because it's like super weird in places and squashed and not looking great. It still takes up a lot of space, but it's okay. Alright, so try and recenter this again. Right, that. Ooh. Cool. All right. So I think that's not bad. It's okay. I'm like, about it, but I think that when more kind of like stuff is put into it, it'll kind of like work even better. So I'm actually gonna cut this out and just move this behind the text up here, so these can just kind of more easily be manipulated instead of having to kind of like make a selection, just move that, and then match the text to it. Now they're just kind of their own little thing. I can group them, so I can just do this with ease. Okay. Now back to this sketch. Let's see. I want to. What do I want to do? So I think I want to kind of like work this kind of a shape into it. Just trying to like figure out how to make it align with the banner where it's not kind of having a weird tangent. Like here is pretty good. I want it breaking out of this kind of shape, defying it, if you will. There you go. That's the like element of victory, is this planted flag is defying the surface here. And then we're kind of, I don't know, kind of feels like maybe we're looking up at it. That's kind of also, you know, emboldening it or something. I don't actually know design. So I want these kind of like mountains or rocks or whatever to kind of like better yield to this shape. Looking at kind of like this reference, you know, we got a lot of sand and these kind of like boulders kind of poking out, like casting shadows, and I quite like that idea. Like there's this kind of like sun bleaching that we can kind of give as an effect almost, and then the shadows kind of like draped from these kind of large stones can kind of like just really have a nice kind of atmospheric look to it. Yeah, totally want the weapons scattered around as well. I do enjoy that kind of element with the header of it. Like basically the swords sticking out of the ground, spears kind of leaning on tents, stuff like that. So I don't know, do we want like the tents as well? Now this I did actually end up drawing this kind of border on the wrong layer. It should be part of the sketch layer. So now it should be easier to kind of like make this work here. I suppose Merde has like nice clean architecture, like they have artisans and they're very skilled, right? So we'll have it be quite nice looking here. Ooh, fireballs and bird silhouettes. Actually, that's kind of fun. Yeah, because there's the whole like cavalry and the bird riders in what, wave 3? Now, what angle do we want the light kind of cascading from? I tend to do like top right, but I think we'll want to do kind of like a bit of a midday look to it. And yeah, we got one sword over here already. So what we could do is like the sun being high in the sky. It's going to be casting harsh shadows down below. And then doing like nice cool shadows. And so I want to kind of like give a good opportunity for there to be stuff casting shadows. And I think that the kind of like rock outcrops are one of the ways to do that. I suppose if the banner is like actually like out in the field, that could also be kind of casting its own shadow too. That might be a bit harder to do though. Maybe not though. It's just a really big banner. It's almost like touching the ground here. I mean, that kind of could be neat. And yeah, I think it'll just depend on kind of like what angle we want the light and the quality of it, like how harsh is it. Like the thing is a shot like this, there's just so much light happening. Like all the sand is actually going to be scattering tons of light. So everything's going to be pretty lit up. So like where this like where the banner is nearly grazing the ground, that could get just a little hint of a shadow almost. But like out here, I feel like that would just be kind of like really hard to even spot. I mean, if there's a lot of like hills and rocks and stuff bouncing light, if it's like super flat, it would actually be potentially harder to get. that much kind of scattering light, I suppose. But like the bottom of the banner would definitely be lit up from the sand itself, because like all of the sandy ground is just scattering light everywhere. So you know, the underside of the rock is getting tons of bounce light over here, but then like right deep in the kind of like the base of it, that's where it gets some nice kind of nice shadow there. I'm on the wrong layer here. Grab that and that, cut that, and bring it back down to the sketch, paste in place, and merge. There we go. Fixed. But yeah, some elements that we may not be able to fit on the top panel, we can like put into the bottom panel. For example, like, oh, we want more like weapons embedded in things. We could like put a sword just kind of jutting out of this or something like that, right? All kinds of things we could try. We basically have two full kind of like dramatic, fun scenes to mess with, right? Wow, the stream status is very poor. Huh, what's going on? Also, I'll probably want to like take into consideration what these kind of like shapes are doing. In terms of kind of like drawing the eye, you know, like I probably want to bring the eye to the center, and so like elements off to the side should kind of like probably like bring your attention back, right? So like this like fireball combined with this sword are actually just like causing you to almost want to escape. Ooh, that's not what I meant to hit. Like out of the shot here. So I feel like the sword needs to almost be flipped here. Although, how will this look? It's not really embedded in anything properly, unless it might not be bad. Yeah, I feel like this one's going to be its own beast to deal with. It'll be a fun one, though. But I feel like we should probably focus on just the top right now, because I don't have as good an idea for the top one. And the bottom one, I just want to make a cool battle scene. So I feel like I can just create something that you will be able to enjoy, probably. I hope. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, more like weapons and spears and maybe a silhouette of a bird, yeah. I still feel like I haven't incorporated flame shards in this, though. So I'm not sure if we think that matters too much. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the Warmonger doesn't have, like, an incredibly potent silhouette. And I actually think I want to avoid characters in any of these. Unless I've already added characters to them in the past, and I just can't remember. But like the impression of one's not a bad idea. But yeah, I'm not even sure if his silhouette is kind of like an impression. Yeah, flaming sword. Flaming sword's good. That would work. That feels like it's like an element that could show his defeat even. So like if there was just kind of like boom, like the flaming sword just kind of like shoved into the ground here or something like that. Let me pull up his reference. Yeah. So just basically sword wreathed in fire, or made of fire, or whatever. But like, maybe it's actually going out even. That's actually another way to kind of show that. It's extinguishing. And then, ooh, actually, I have another idea. Alright, so we have the Warmonger's, like, blade, and you know what? Even though that's not in the design, I'm gonna be like, yeah, the hand, like, the hilt has the marching flame kind of, you know, iconography. So, yeah, like, it's he's being defeated, right? And like his blade is dropped and is going out, as is his kind of dreams of taking over. He's being defeated. So that I think is a really cool way to kind of convey their defeat, and then also just like a whoosh, like slash across their kind of like banner or something like that to kind of like break it apart, you know. The ranks have been broken, that kind of effect, right? Boom. Like that, I think, tells a bit of a story at least. And I don't think that the look of it is right yet. Like I want to kind of like get that flame looking more like it's kind of like petering out. And like, you know, setting a good story with it, stuff like that. But yeah, I actually quite like this idea. That's neat. So I might offset these a little bit from each other, like have the steps up to the banner kind of like slid to the right, and then this actual kind of like flame brand kind of like on the left side, and then they can kind of like, you know, be offset on the center. I like it. The lunchbox debris. Maybe. Just a mushroom cloud in the background. Could be neat with the debris though, like the way it kind of like consumes it. Yeah. kind of like it being a charred blade. Yeah, we're cooking. Ooh, yeah, a bit of like a scorched edge on the banner. Should it be for like their banner or ours? It is interesting. We're actually kind of displaying like the two sides of the battle in a way. Didn't even think of it like that. Yeah, I like this effect of kind of like this showdown. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. This is working for me. This concept. I'm actually going to merge this so that I can move it over. The slash is going to have to move over after. Now it looks like it's like looking at the sword. It's disappointed. You have failed me for the last time, no longer. Alright. Gonna miss my School of Shark skins. Hope we can use unupgraded trap skins on upgraded trap someday. I would like that feature. I totally agree. Because yeah, like upgrading into the Chrome, you definitely kind of like, it's like, well, I guess I can't use those other trap skins. So I think it would be worth developing that ability. I'm going to try and propose it better because I think it would be great. Like, it's a really neat thing, and I don't see why, like, traps that are basically the same trap, it's just the upgraded version, shouldn't be allowed to kind of, like, have access to cool trap skins. That's my thought on it. Because, I mean, it's like when you upgrade, it's like, yeah, I get a cooler, more powerful trap, but now I lose the ability to make it look like those things that I really enjoyed. And that's just missing out. And you shouldn't have to, like, feel bad about upgrading, right? And, I mean, obviously, the Chrome School of Sharks is just the coolest looking thing, but at the same time, it's nice to be able to, like, switch it up every once in a while. So, I get ya. I get ya. All right. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about where this is getting. Now, I could do my usual lunch, but I'm thinking because I have... Well, actually, you know what? I do have a thing that I need to get through by the end of the day. And then the meetings are probably going to eat up most of my time. So I'm thinking I might actually call it at 1. I know, it's like a short art day. What's up? I've actually been doing quite a few short art days recently, so it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, I have it's a lot of meeting later on, so I won't have much time to kind of like finish up what I need to. So I should probably go do that. And then I can hang out on Carson's stream and watch him play Clan O'Connell and help raise money for Sick Kids Toronto, which would be really cool. So yeah, I think I will actually call it at 1. So we have 15 minutes still to kind of keep developing this design. Because I'm actually pretty happy with where this ended up. I wasn't sure if I would kind of like get it to a state where I'm like, yeah, okay, like I know where to go from here. And I'm still kind of like, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but I feel like I have an impression of where to take it at least. So that is good. Gargantuan carcass in the background. And I'm not adding characters into the designs, and especially corpses of big cool beasts. Sorry. You could just pretend that like one of the, you know, billowing piles of glowing mass is that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I would explicitly put that in. Anytime I like state things, I'm like, have I done these things before? Am I just eating my own words right now? Fire sword. All right. So I should probably keep messing with the top frame because I'm not sure. Oh, the collar though, that's a good idea. I like that. That's smart. See, like elements of a character is good. I think that's good. Let's see. So I'm just watching Carson getting chomped on by ghosts. All right. What was I doing? Oh yeah, gargantua mouse. Got that big old heavy collar. All right. I mean, it's huge too. So like, I almost want to put it in the backdrop up here. And I'm kind of like, what else should I do up here? I don't know what to put. I don't know. So like, if you look at the art for the gargantuas, you can see the size of like the swords and the spears near the character, right? And then the actual mouse is quite big. So it'd be neat to kind of like have that incorporated. Also, like the terrain that when I did the map update, I actually gave some pretty jagged kind of stone work around the perimeter, so I could use that to kind of like help guide the eye and like create this kind of like presence and atmosphere and light quality, all kinds of reasons to use these. Yeah, all right. So, just to show its massive size, we have, you know, spear thing here. But like in the background, we can have just kind of like behind the hills, and it's kind of like you don't even know necessarily how far away these hills are. I would imagine not crazy far away, but the defeated gargantua mouse. Or did you just release it to go do battle with the dragon mouse? And it might not be too readily obvious what this is. But as long as, you know, someone knows what this is about, it's kind of just an Easter egg then. I do like me some Easter eggs on Feedback Friday. make it easier to understand that this is like a collar. Because although in the design it kind of has this more boxy shape, I think that it might be easier to understand what this is if I just kind of like really play into the design of what you would expect a collar to look like. Have that chain kind of going behind because it's easier to make it read this way, I think. Should really just be using an opaque brush. Maybe I'll rotate this in a bit. It's kind of like really breaking up that kind of like shape that I wanted to kind of like create. So if I do this, I can also make the draped chain kind of like guide the work with the gravity a bit better. So I'll get rid of that. Now, there we go. I think it's easier to see that there's like a broken link now. I mean, the original character art has it, you know, broken off of its lead, but hopefully that helps relate them. Does this feel very much like the Gargantua collar? I mean, even if it doesn't, it's just kind of like something on the battlefield, I guess. Kind of hard to tell the scale, which was intentional, but now I'm kind of not sure if I like that. I just kind of put some kind of atmospheric landscape behind it. Rock here, why not? Just making it kind of sandy dune. I think also if I put like the sand behind this, I don't know, help make it read. Maybe it's just like on the side of the hill though. Just kind of half buried in it. That might work better. Because then it's almost like it's being defeated ages ago and it's slowly being overtaken by the environment. And it still feels significantly kind of like large and far away because of having these kind of dunes overlapping each other and then the spear as a reference point. Right? Yeah, I think that'll work. Put a rock jutting out here. Just to get a little more interesting cast shadows and stuff. Maybe. Yeah, I agree. Like, we can add a bit of kind of atmospheric kind of blur to kind of like put it off in the distance even more. And I think with the lighting quality that I can put on it, effectively I could kind of almost like wash it out with a light blue. So take out any of the actual shadows and let the light kind of like come forward, but the shadows just kind of like lose their punchiness and just kind of creates this almost atmosphere between what we're looking at and, you know, where it is in the environment. So yeah, I think it's fine. It's not super clear what it is, but if you look at it and you kind of like try to analyze it, you're like, oh, that looks like it could be a color. Although, of course, when it's at size, it's like, what the heck? There's nothing even visible there. So considering how big this will be viewed at most of the time, I'm probably going to make this middle portion of the scene just kind of like take more presence. Because for the most part, it's really tiny, right? So what I should probably try to focus on is a few minor elements that really do read well. Watching Carson trying to figure out the puzzles. Yeah. Oh, I think he's figuring it out. Yep, he got it. All right. Yeah, the bottom of the, yeah, exactly. The flaming sword and the steps banner could totally be enlarged and really like just make a better scene overall. I'm wondering, I don't want to merge the top part, but the bottom part I might, just because it'll be easier to work with if I do that. So if I cut that out, and I paste it here, I merge that down. So it's just going to be a little easier to just kind of scale up and move things around. Actually, first, I'm going to move this fireball over. I like the size it is, so I don't really want to change that. But I think if it's over to the right, that's a bit better. Just kind of more out of, maybe cut it off like that. More out of the way. And then this, both of these, I'm just going to scale them up. Lose the top, lose that, that. Don't need any of this stuff up here, kind of like eating up stuff around it. Okay, I think, yep, we're at 1 o'clock, so I'm just going to make this change, and I think that's going to be it for today. But might as well just get this scaled how we want it. I think that's a little better. I'm actually going to move the sword part down and let the like banner part lift up even higher to kind of like be standing up here. Like remove. No. Whoa, what did I do? Holy smokes, that's not at all. Whoa. Interesting. Okay, let's try that again. That was weird. I think it just kind of like stretched it height-wise, like to the extreme. Okay, so if I move this way up here, and then I just kind of like, excuse me, eraser, eraser. Alright, well, that didn't work. Okay. I think I needed to just oh, I see. Same layer. I thought I made a copy of that. Pardon my rambling. Okay, so that's fine. You deselect. Come down here. Oh, again, I made it a different layer. I swear. Did I not? Copy, paste. Alright, it's its own layer. This time it's going to work. Very specifically manually set it to do this. Okay, good. Now, grab you. Move you down. Even lower. Cool. Alright, deselect. Now, so I want to use this kind of like light to draw these two elements together. Right? Yeah, that looks cool. Alright. Well, I'm pretty happy with what we ended up with today. Obviously, there's still a ton of actual like rendering to make this all actually look good. But maybe we'll do that if I don't have anything kind of slotted up for like the next art stream. That could be a good thing to, like, we could continue work on this. So if not, I don't want to just kind of like have this, you know, sitting around and never complete. I'll try to work on this if I have spare time, but I think it'd be nice to use this as kind of like, oh, we don't have anything to draw today. Let's continue working on this piece. So it might take a little bit of time. That may not be ideal, but I also want to, you know, be able to be working on new content whenever that's ready to go. So yeah, we're getting there though. I like that. There's always other art that can be worked on. It's just not always stuff that can be done on stream, right? So future content is always a thing. Just in case you didn't think that was the case, there's always stuff in the works. It's just like at varying stages of like we need finished assets that people can see on stream, or we need to do like concept stuff. So right now, concept stuff, but unfortunately, it's not concept stuff that can. Just watch Carson get hit by like 5 things in a row. Not stuff that I can share because it's kind of like certainly still in development and design and consideration, not actually like we're going in those directions, hence concepts. But I don't know, sometimes I might be able to share that stuff and that'd be pretty cool to do on stream too, but we'll see. Every week at a time, I think. All right, so I'm gonna go take lunch, but I'm ending the stream here because I have meetings in the afternoon. Yeah, I have a Larry link, I believe. Give me 1 second to grab that. Thank you, Michelle. I'm gonna steal some of those for myself. All right. So, well, thank you. I'm pretty happy with where it ended up. So, thank you for hanging out and like giving some ideas. Like, I actually a lot of these ideas, I really would not have even come up with. Like maybe the banner at the top, and like, you know, ooh, the sand and stones and weapons. I kind of like came in with that idea, but like the framing of the journal itself using kind of like Muraday's kind of bricks, I didn't really think of that one. That one was provided, and then the actual like scene at the bottom was entirely like, hey, so check out like the HUD for, you know, wave 4. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, totally wouldn't even have thought of doing a scene like that, but I really like it. So here are in the chat little Larry link. So do enjoy that, and then I'm gonna re-link my good friend Carson, who is streaming Clan O'Connell right now, which is a hit grab game, platformer kind of puzzler. If you've not heard of it, it's available on Steam right now. And he's doing it as a charity stream for Sick Kids Hospital. So make sure to go and hang out there for your afternoon and consider donating to a good cause there. I already have a couple of the people from the office have, and yeah, enjoy the game. Maybe consider picking it up. It's pretty fun. But that's it for me. I'm gonna head on out. So thanks for hanging out as always. I appreciate all of you, and stay safe, be well, happy hunting, and I will catch you all later. Until next time, bye for now.